real quick here. So the first three says to classify it by angles. So what that's talking about is like this. Is it right, acute, or obtuse? That's what it means to classify by angles. So on number 1, what type of triangle is that?
Obtuse.
It's obtuse. I don't know how big that angle is. Does anybody know how big that angle is? Did you find it?
108.
It's 10 what?
8.
108, yep. So right there, that's the obtuse angle in there. So that makes this an obtuse triangle. Remember, obtuse triangle only has one obtuse angle. It can only have one. If it had two, it wouldn't be a triangle. Okay, number 2, what is that?
Right.
Okay, if you do the math, that's a 90-degree angle right there. This is a right triangle. And then on number 3, how big is this angle? 60. And that's an acute triangle because all the angles are less than 90. Okay, now the second group is by sides. Now by sides is talking about this. Scalene, isosceles, and equilateral. What does scalene mean? None are the same. What does isosceles mean? Two are the same. What does equilateral mean? All of them are the same. Okay, so number 4, what type of triangle is that by sides? It's isosceles. Good. Number 5 is scalene. None of them are the same length. And then number 6, well, it's equilateral, but it's also equiangular. That's right. Okay. Number 7, classify this by its angles. This trips everybody up. What is this by angles? Boom, right there. It's got a 96-degree angle in it, so what is it? It's obtuse. By angles, it's an obtuse triangle. If I were to classify it by sides, what is it? Isosceles, okay? Yes, it's isosceles by sides. So isosceles means what? Two sides of the same length. So those two sides are equal. So we're going to set them equal. I'm going to set 6x plus 52 equal to 13x plus 3. And then we're going to solve for x. I'll solve for x on this one. I'm not going to solve it on all of them, but this way it'll give you at least one of these that you can put on your orange piece of paper to follow the work if you need this. Okay, so what's my first step here? Subtract 6x. Get those x's together. So take 6x away from both sides. Okay, so that leaves 52 here. That leaves 7x plus 3 here. Subtract 3 from both sides. That leaves 49 here, 7x here. Divide by 7. And x equals what? X equals 7. Okay? Now I know what x is, so now I want to find out what ml is. So what am I going to do? Take it in there, plug it in right there. So 6 times 7 plus 52 is what? Is 94. And the other one, if you do 13 times 7 plus 3, that's going to give you 94 also. Okay, next one. All right, so this one definitely trips people up. So we have triangle QRS. And it says that QR is 4x plus 4. Zoom in here. RS is 10x minus 32. And QS is 6x minus 8. Now, QR is talking about how long that side is. It's not talking about how big an angle is. So it's not like it's equal to 60, or we're going to add them all up to equal 180. It's not talking about angles. It's talking about the sides. So it says that this is an equilateral triangle right here. What does equilateral mean?
All sides are the same.
All sides are the same. So all these are equal. Okay, so in this case, since they're all equal, I can choose any two sides that I want, and it doesn't matter which two sides. So I'm just going to go with the 4x plus 4 and the 10x minus 32. So 4x plus 4 equals 10x minus 32. And then just solve from there. So I'm going to go through this quick. Subtract 4x from both sides. This zeroes out. We get 4 equals 6x minus 32. Add 32. That zeroes out. 6x equals 36 divided by 6. And so x equals 6. All right, x equals 6, and I'll take that 6 and plug it up here. So 4 times 6 plus 4 is what?
30.
28. And if you plug in 4 in all those, it's going to give you 28. 10 times 6 is 60. 60 minus 32 gives you 28. 6 times 6 is 36 minus 8 would be 28. Okay. All right, on this one. Okay, let me erase over this. Okay, so there's several things you could do here. But to find angle 1, let's go ahead and just find this angle right here. So how can I find this angle? Okay, so there's several ways to do it. I would do it like that. 180 minus 80 minus 60, and what does that leave you?
40.
Okay, that gives you 40. Okay, so this angle right here is 40 degrees. Okay, so actually that tells me how big angle 2 is. How big is angle 2? 40. How do I know angle 2 is 40? Because that 40 degree angle I just found and angle 2 are vertical angles. These two are vertical angles, so they're just equal to each other. Now, what's up with angle 1 and angle 2? Good, they're a linear pair. They add up to 180. Right, so to do that, I'm just going to do 180 minus 40. And what does that give you? It gives you 140 for angle 1. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing right here. Okay, this angle and this angle are a linear pair. They add up to 180. So what and 105 add up to 180? Is 75. Now I can find angle 3. I'm going to do 180 minus 75 minus 40. And that gives me 65 degrees for right there. Okay. Now going back up there. Actually, I already know how big angle 4 is. How big is angle 4?
75.
It's equal to that one. It's 75 degrees. All right, now to find angle 5, there's two ways to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and do a different way here. And it's when you add these two remote interior angles, it adds up to equal this one over here. So just 75 plus 40 gives us 115 degrees. You could have found this angle and then subtracted that from 180, but it's going to give you the same thing. Okay, on this one, so what additional information am I going to need? So for SAS, what else do I need to know about these two triangles? I need to know that right there. I need to know that AB is congruent to GH. Because then that would make side angle side. That's what I need. Okay? If I wanted to use angle side, what else would I have to know? Angle B is congruent to angle H for angle side. And then for angle side angle, what else would I have to know? I would need to know that angle C is congruent to angle J. Okay, down here at the bottom, so just simple math here, looking for that missing angle. So 180 minus 59 minus 58 is what? Is 63 degrees. Okay, on that second one, how big is that angle? 131. Is 131. And on this one, how big is it? 90. Okay. All right. So on this one, there's two ways to do it. The easy way is this, is just to remember this little fact that we talked about last week. Okay, if you add these two angles on the opposite side, it equals to the angle on the outside. The two remote interior angles add up to equal the exterior angle. So on this, 6x plus 4x equals 110. There's other ways to do it, but this definitely is the easiest. So this gives us 10x equals 110, divide by 10. And what does x equal?
11.
X equals 11. Okay, exact same thing on this one. These two remote interior add up to equal this one out here. So 12x plus 4x equals 144. So 16x equals 144 divided by 16. And you get 9. Okay, number 19. So with the information that's given to us right here, how could I tell that those two triangles are congruent? By SSS, side, side, side. Okay, so angle A is congruent to what? Angle H. Angle B is congruent to? Angle J. Angle C is congruent to? Angle L. Okay, side AB is congruent to what? Okay, HJ. So again here, if you'll notice, AB has 1 mark, HJ has 1 mark. That's why these two are equal. Okay, BC is equal to what? Okay, it's got 3. This has 3, so JL. And then AC is congruent to what? HL. And then, so triangle ABC is congruent to triangle HJL. All right, on this one, how do I know that SR is parallel to PQ and that SP is parallel to QR? Okay, right here because it's given. So this is parallel to this, and this is parallel to this. And it says angle 1 is congruent to angle 3, and angle 4 is congruent to angle 2. Okay, I know that because of the alternate interior angles theorem. Okay, then number 3, how do I know that PR is congruent to PR? Reflexive. And then obviously those two triangles are congruent because of angle side angle. Okay, on the back. So can I say those two triangles are congruent? All right, so if I split it apart, that side would be congruent to itself, but this would be an example of angle side side. Can we use angle side side?
No.
No, it's a no. So there's no way to prove that those two are congruent. Okay, number 2. Okay, good. I know that side's congruent to itself because of the reflexive, so you have angle, side, angle. This is ASA. Okay, number 3. Okay, SSS. Number 4. Okay, this is angle, side, angle. Number 5. Okay, none. There's not enough information there. Okay, number 6 is angle, side, angle. Number 7. Okay, this one's a little bit tricky. If you notice, it's side, angle, side here, but on this one, it's angle, side, side. They didn't mark it in the same place. If they would have marked it right here, that would have been side, angle, side. But the way they have it marked, they do not match up. So this is a none here. Okay, number 8. How are those? By SSS. Number 9. Side, angle, side. And then number 10 is side, side, side. All right, that should get us. So your test will be tomorrow. So remember, get everything on your orange piece of paper, and you can use that on your test tomorrow.